and you can come back and watch this at a later time. Our kind of unofficial motto that we got is the win condition is kids playing games. That was kind of said to me by Doc Haskell from BSU one time, and it really just resonated kind of with what our organization does and what we're about in the end of the day. All right, Nate. Yep. All right. So we're a group of educators and administrators who we've come together to kind of form this organization. We're very much focused on creating opportunities for high school and middle school students, and potentially, in the future, we can even start talking elementary or collegiate or post-high school situations across the state of Idaho, specifically in the world of esports. As of June or July this year, we are an official 501c3 organization. It's recognized by the IRS and the state of Idaho. We are not a part of any state organization or group. We know of IHSAA. I think they know of us, and that's pretty much where the relationship ends. Same applies to national esports organizations such as Play Versus, HSCL, Generation Esports, whatever you want to call them, Valhalla League or whatever they're calling themselves now. So we're not a part of any of those groups. We are truly a group of teachers and administrators in Idaho who have created an Idaho activity for us. Kind of following in that, we have high school and middle school this year, and our background is as diverse as our state is. But kind of our one common passion is gaming. Our organization is focused on delivering the best that we can to all of our players and coaches. Admittedly, we're not always going to be able to hit every single person, but as a small organization, we have, I feel, a better opportunity to kind of meet and adapt to what our people need. If you ever want to contact us, you just do our first name, our last name at idahoesports.gg. That'll get us an email. If you misspell it, I think I have it set up to catch. So again, my name's Dalton Hawkins. I'll let the other guys introduce themselves as well.
I'll go first. My name's Nate Cerzola. I am the coach at Bishop Kelly, and my most prevalent role here is the Treasure Valley coordinator, really helping with a lot of the schools around the Treasure Valley get into esports, and also run my own team.
My name's Mitch Young. I'm the coach at Burley High School, and I'll be the one kind of more focused on the finance side, collecting invoices and everything as the season goes on.
My name is Garrick Cohn. I teach middle school out in Idaho Falls. My primary role in the group is actually to take care of the middle school season, this is going to be our first season. So if you have any middle school questions, I'm the guy to talk to.
Awesome. Thank guys. And they all mentioned being coaches. I also am a coach at Sandpoint, way up north. We're currently getting about a foot of snow right now, so lots of fun. All right. So this year, again, as I think is a little bit obvious, we are only offering a spring season. It's going to be starting February 12th, and we'll kind of be kicking off from there. It'll be a nice little turnaround for some of us going to IATA. Our first games, yes, it starts the 12th. Our first games will be taking off on the 13th. We're going kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this year, just to kind of provide, to reduce the chances of getting hit with all those random wacky holidays and stuff like that. This year, the high school is going to offer Overwatch 2, Valorant, Rocket League, Apex Legends, Super Smash Bros. 4v4 crew battle. I didn't put it on there. And League of Legends this year is going to be combined with the middle school, and will not offer a in-person state event like it did last year. We kind of replaced League of Legends with Apex. However, middle school wanted to run League of Legends, so we're hopefully getting a few people in there.
So for middle school, we are going to be running Mario Kart, Valorant, Rocket League, and Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers will be 4v4 crew battles, just like what the high school is going to be doing. And then, yeah, as Dalton said, we are going to be having a League of Legends season this year. We are going to be combining ourselves with the high schools so that we can make sure we have enough people to play. It is going to be a smaller group than we'd like, but if you have somebody, some kids that want to play, let us know. We'll get people in as quick as we can.
Okay. I think I'm back. All right. Don't know what you guys all covered while I was gone. This year, Boise State is going to be offering a online event. Valorant, Rocket League, Overwatch, and Smash. This is going to be occurring, I believe, February 6th through 10th. There's an open category for non-scholastic groups, and there's also a scholastic category for us high schoolers. We really thank Doc for everything that they do at BSU for us. Definitely go check this out. It's a really cool event. Presented by the National Guard. They're calling it the Winter Games. And I think, should be pretty good. The 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th are kind of just getting some games in. And then the final tournaments are on the 10th. I will 18% see the spot for registration for each event. I'll reach out to Doc about that, Dark, and see what we can do.
As well on this, in case you guys are wondering, I know there's been some questions about it. If you want to compete in the scholastic tournaments, they will begin at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So that'll be after school, so then that way you don't have to worry about getting kids, out of class and things like that.
Perfect. All right. Mitch, I think this is you.
Oh, sorry. The cost is going to be $10 per starting player per game. So if you're doing Overwatch, that's going to be $50. If you have 2 or 3 subs, you don't have to pay for them. You're paying for how many people are playing the game at game day. So that'd be $50. Smash Brothers would be $4. Again, if you have subs, you're only paying for that. And then middle school will be $5 again per starting player per game. So if you have multiple games, you'll have to pay that price multiple times. And if you have any difficulty with paying, let us know, because we want everyone to be here. We don't want the price point to turn people away or students away. So we're willing to work with anyone that reaches out. I'll be sending some invoices so that we can have something official. We're getting an account through ICCU, so that's what you'll be paying to. And when we get that out, I'll email everyone. And when I guess it's a little ahead, but you're going to put on League OS what games you're going to be involved in your rosters, and that's where I'll be looking to see how much I need to charge you for, is based on what's in League OS. All right, so we want schools to stream or record and send us to show off players. You can have one streamer or one coach in a match. That depends with Valorant and all that. That's kind of what we're trying to have for streaming. And Dalton must have dropped again, because he would probably have a lot more to say about how Sandpoint does it, and because I don't know what he means by the SRT method. But it looks like how-to on YouTube.
Yeah, and I know, Dalton set this up, or this is how he essentially, the long story short on this is, it's a way for you to be able to capture every single player's point of view without a bunch of additional recording equipment and capture cards, and without having to worry about taken away from any resources on the gaming PCs themselves, so in that way they have as close to maximum performance as they can. So, but yeah, we really want to know your YouTubes and Twitches and things like that. So in that way we can have that and potentially even host you guys if we get the chance that week.
And I'd just like to chime in real quick. The challenge is for everybody to follow and like all the other team channels. For those of you who aren't familiar with Twitch, once you hit a certain amount of people following and hours and whatnot, you can actually earn money. And for a lot of our smaller school districts, and like for me specifically, personally, we are using Twitch to help cover the cost of our program. So just throwing a like and a like and a follow on other ones is going to be super helpful. And yeah, Dark has a great point in the chat about stream sniping. We do recommend setting a delay. That way you can prevent that. And a lot of the games that have spectators will also have inbuilt delays for that purpose.
Yeah, and they talked just a little bit about SRT. There's several different options out there. There's NDI and stuff like that. I made a little video on how to set that up from the coach perspective, how to set up the SRT style on our YouTube page. Yeah, and at Stark's point, there is a little bit of honesty type thing. Set your delays, but yeah, don't use it as a chance to stream snipe each other.
And if you have any further questions and want to know more about streaming, you can reach out to any one of us, or you can reach out to some of the other coaches that run programs. I know myself, I run a stream for BK. One of the easiest ways to add a delay is OBS in its program. They allow you to set a 30-second, 1-minute delay, things like that. And so we'll help you guys set that up. I mean, a delay is required. So yeah, like we said for most tournaments here in the chat. So we highly recommend it. And like I said, if you're interested in streaming and want to learn more how to do that and set up OBS and stuff like that, feel free to reach out and we'll happily walk you through the process.
Yeah. All right. So this is how we're going to register. Every coach that I had emails for should have gotten a link to League OS. If you need a refresh on that, just send us an email at info@idahosports.gg. Or if you need help getting into it, or if you didn't get the link or anything like that, that way we just can get that to you. From there, you'll be able to invite students to your school and create your teams. You can create kind of team links specifically, or you can add them manually. Students will need to fill out their game linking information under their connections in order for them to fully register for the event. If you don't have those linked, it'll get you most of the way there, but you won't be registered until your players have that game connection information in there. We'll talk about this a little bit more. So schools can have as many times as you want to field. That's kind of new this year. Last year we were a little more restricted just because we were doing a lot of this by hand. This League OS, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, offers a lot of opportunities for us to kind of open this up. However, we do suggest thinking about subs just because you have 10 Overwatch players. I know from experience, I've coached for 6-7 years now. Just because you were able to have 10 players doesn't mean that all 10 are going to always be available. So think about having subs. The nice thing, I think, for Idaho Esports over other groups is that we don't restrict or we don't charge for subs. So they are free to be on the roster. Your little freshman or your first-time player, having them as a sub might be a good move. And then the one catch with all of this that I'll say is for the state playing event that was referred to a lot last year as districts because we don't really have districts, kind of, sort of. I'm just referring to this as a state playing event. Only one team per school can advance in a game. So if you have 3 Overwatch teams, only one Overwatch team will play in the state playing event. Your school, like those 3 teams, you can have an in-school whatever, will take the highest seed. So if you have a number 1 seed, a number 4 seed, and a number 6 seed, your team is going to be the number 1 seed. This is just kind of keeps it kind of more open for our schools that might struggle a little bit more, or not necessarily struggle, but might have a harder time. This way, they have a shot, and they can have a state play-in at least experience. As a coach, you can just say, hey, yep, whoever's first seed, you get it, or you can have an in-building thing that's totally as coach discretion. I kind of talked about this already. So we're going to have rosters for all of our teams, and you need to make sure that your account is right. Coaches, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you really encourage your players not to change screen names halfway through the season. I don't know how many times this happens that some kid is like, oh, this is my other account. No, you need to have one single account that you are working with the entire time, and just stay consistent with that. The names in game must match the League OS screen names. This is grounds for disqualification of a match. There is one exception with this, and this is Super Smash Bros. 4v4 crew battles, and Mitch can probably explain that one more.
Yeah, so with the way that Nintendo works, when you do a 4v4 crew battle, you're going to make an arena, and it's still going to be one player against one player at a time, and it will show the name of the account for the Switch down below. So in Smash Bros, you can change your name and have custom controls, but even if you change that, as far as your opponent will see, it will always have the same name for all 4 of those crew battles. So the biggest thing there would be, put in what will your Switch account name be. Like for Burley, we have it as BHS, and then that way we can clearly see that you're playing against BHS. And then as far as team name or player name, there's not really any way to double check that. So it'll, kind of in a way have to be on the honor system, but on the roster you could put, whatever name they want, but you won't be able to see that change in between battles on the crew battle. So just so everyone's aware, they don't think that some team is being unfair. That's just the way it is with Smash.
So with our League OS, we do have a Discord system now that kind of can auto enroll people into the different tournaments that they're participating in, into the different chats that they might be participating in. It also has an opportunity for school and team specific chats and voice. If a school wants us to enable that for them, having a school or team specific channel, let us know. Our default is going to be that unless we're told otherwise, we're not going to start it up. So like Sandpoint has one right now, both Sandpoint High School and Sandpoint Middle, because I experiment with my kids a lot. And so you can have that. If you send us your school or team League OS URLs whenever you're on the team, it makes everything go a lot faster for us. Now, one caveat with this is we, as the IEA administration, we can see everything in all of the channels, and we're probably going to start introducing some content bots and restrictions into there just to kind of keep things civil and clean. It's very much just an esports thing. It's a way to represent yourself and your school, both amongst yourself, school, to us as the league, and also to other organizations that are out there. All right. So I hinted at this before. We are going to have what are called start time leagues. So we kind of set every school based off of what you guys segmented to us, or from what we could find on our side, based off of release times. You can check what league you're in under your school settings under school division. The big idea here was making it so that then schools that get out at 2:30 Mountain don't have to wait until 3:30 Mountain in order to start playing, and we can kind of get things happening a little faster. Or 4:30 Mountain, I think sometimes is what it was. So that way the northern teams that are in Pacific time and those schools that are later release can kind of have their own thing going on. And then those southern schools that have kind of a more traditional release time will be able to get their things done, and we don't have to be at school until 8 o'clock at night. For the most part, assume your start time zone. So if you're in the mountain time, if you're in the mountain league, put mountain time after all of these. If you're in the Pacific league, put Pacific time after all of these. So Valorant is going to be on Tuesdays at 3:30. Super Smash Bros. 4v4 is going to be Tuesdays at 3:30. Rocket League is going to be Wednesdays at 3:30. Apex is the exception to this whole thing that we put into place. Apex will take place on Wednesdays at 4:30 Mountain, 3:30 Pacific. Everyone's going to be in one big, massive pool for that. And then Overwatch 2 is going to be Thursdays at 3:30. And League of Legends is going to be on Thursdays at 3:45. That's because this is combined with the middle school. You'll see the middle school kind of start times in here. Also, in case you're wondering, you can now put GIFs or GIFs or whatever you call them inside of Google Slides. So those are a lot of fun.
Okay, so for the middle schools, Valorant will be Tuesdays 3:45. Smash will be on Thursdays at 3:45, right alongside League. And then on Wednesdays, we will be having Rocket League and Mario Kart. Now, I do want to point out where the middle school league is a little bit smaller than the high school league. We aren't able to identify everybody by their time zone. If we were to split everybody up by time zone or region, we would have 2-person regions, so we're all together. So when you are slated to play against somebody, please reach out to them on Discord. Let them know that when you get out and clarify with them when you teams will be able to play against one another. Hopefully next year we'll have more middle schools and we can have a little bit more solid starting times. But for right now, make sure you communicate with the other coaches so that you can ensure that you are meeting up with them and both teams get to play.
Slight correction to what he said, reach out via League OS. That's our official communication platform this year.
Thank you, Dalton.
All right. Another thing that we're wanting to introduce and kind of highlight to people, we're calling it Unified Esports right now. I had an idea of calling it One Up. That's just a working title, nothing official right now. With our kind of vision of inclusion for anyone that's interested in gaming, we want to put an idea that was presented to us by a coach. And what that is having the ability for a student with special needs to participate in a match. In things like basketball, like you see in this photo here, it might be called the fifth quarter. Basically, the idea is that it wouldn't count towards the actual event. However, it would give those players a chance to participate kind of in a kind of meaningful way. These players with special needs wouldn't have any cost. There'd be no cost to them. We are not mandating this in any way, shape, or form. You don't have to agree to it. However, we would really hope that you would be willing to accommodate in some way, shape, or form, however that might look for your specific event. Every event is different on what that would look like. Rocket League, maybe it's a single match round, whatever, 5 minutes, whatever that is. And you'll be able to do that. Also, if anyone's has an interest in running any type of unified esports competition system, we can definitely leverage our League OS connection to make that an ability, or we can utilize StartGG. We are 100% on board with helping with anything like this, should you have an interest in helping and running that. We've talked about it a lot. League OS. What this is our new league organization platform. We did a lot of research whenever at the end of last year saying, if we're going to grow, we cannot keep using spreadsheets. This is absolute insanity. There's a few times I went on and I had to clear out comments that people had made on there that weren't great. It also is going to provide us a single point of communication and management for everything, instead of trying to dump around to Discord and then to some random Google Sheet and then a Google Doc and then everything that was kind of happening last year. We took the approach of, hey, we're going to just look at one. Initially, we were going to use another company. However, LeagueOS made us a pretty solid offer. Some of the requirements for this awesome rate that we got is that there's going to be some marketing in our Discord and other locations. However, this helps our organization a ton, as well as a lot of times this marketing is literally just, hey, come compete in our little tournaments that we're having. And
I think we lost Dalton.
boards or headsets, something like that. They take those even during the year. I had a fun conversation with a track coach where they were like, "Oh my god, yeah, we can't as high school coaches take the kids and go and compete in this thing, but kids can go and compete in this." I'm like, that's just absolute insanity. So yeah, we're free and clear that you can definitely coach your kids in another tournament if you're so welcome to. It doesn't have to be LeagueOS. You can go and participate with Generation Esports, or play Versus if you want to do that, and do that. We are one of the first groups to start their college prospect system. We, as a board, we do have a voice with them on what that looks like when we're helping shape what that looks like. And with all these Discord integrations, we're going to hopefully reduce all of our Discord servers, ideally into one boiled down version. But we'll get there when we get there. As I said, this is going to be all official game chat. Not all schools have access to Discord, so we wanted a way to kind of formalize where all chats were going to happen, instead of having this mixture of emails and Discord and texts and everything like that. Anything that happens in the league that we want us to take as use this is going to happen inside of LeagueOS. So for coaches, this might mean that you need to get this whitelisted with your IT team. And if you need to do that, let me know. All communication is logged, even deleted messages. So make sure your students are aware of this. If they're using, slurs and stuff like that, like they'll get suspended or whatever is necessary. Our admin and LeagueOS admin have access to these logs. And yeah, so just be smart whenever you're communicating. On a different note, in terms of any game issues that might happen, there's only 4 of us. As you've heard from our voices, there's 4. And we're busy coaching our own kids a lot of times. So we're not always 100% super available. So what we ask is, you guys are the players, you guys are the coaches, you should know the game somewhat. And so go ahead and, try and resolve it on your own. Always try for the most respectful interpretation. Go with, hey, maybe this coach doesn't necessarily know the game that well. They don't know all of the intricacies as you do. Try and take that most respectful interpretation. If you find things in our rules and stuff like that are a little, not clear, let us know and we can help clear that up. But always try and take the approach of, we want kids playing games. Like, take that unofficial model of our win condition is kids playing games to make this happen. Is there an active ticket? Flores, yeah, just send us an email and we'll get that to you. I also want to address something that came up last year. We as an organization don't endorse or support any of the silly. This is an example that happened last year. We agreed to the knife fight in game chat for the final. Then they used a pistol and eliminated me. Ultimately, neither team should have agreed to the knife fight. And in the end, we went with the team that won. Regardless of what was kind of said in game chat, always, my thing is play to win all the time. And so, yeah, if someone's like, oh, I'm going to come up and try and knife you, you should do it too, I would 100% tell my players, no, just eliminate them in whatever manner possible. I don't know. I've talked a lot. Someone else take that.
I'll take this. So we don't have an officially defined spring break period like last season. So this year, because the season will technically be 7 weeks long, but one of those weeks will be your bye week or your spring break. So be on the lookout for me. I'll send out a communication as we get a little bit closer to the season, and we'll make sure that we know what your spring break is, and then we'll set that in League OS. So then that way, that is your bye week. So there won't be if you have a different spring break than some of the other schools, then you'll play your match with a school that doesn't have or has a spring break at a similar time or a different time. You won't ever. We're going to try. I'm not going to say never, but 99.9% of the time, you will not have a match during your spring break. So that should help with that. In addition to this, we are going to have, much like last year, the state play-in and final event. This year, a slight change is the play-in event, or maybe some of you refer to it colloquially as districts. This will be a 2-week-long process, April 15th through the 26th, and it'll be a similar bracket style, double elimination, where you'll play off, and then the top teams will go move on to states. I think right now, with the 2 leagues, it'll be the top 4 teams in both leagues will move on to states after that. So in addition to this change, the state play-in will be after school. So unlike last year, where we asked you to be on from noon until 6 p.m. And had to try to get that time off and fought with your admin and things like that, this year that'll all be played after school. So the first 2 rounds will be played the first week, and then the remaining rounds will be played the week after. So it's a nice change, especially if you're like where I was at, where it was a little bit of a fight to try to get your players to play. So in addition to this, the top teams that make it will play at the in-person state event. This will be from May 10th and 11th. For sure, Boise State will be hosting the in-person aspect to it, and there may be some potential talks after that. This does have AP test conflicts, which the only day that it'll have an AP test conflict is the 10th, because this is a Friday and a Saturday. But our hope is that, we're trying to give you as much advance time with this, so then that way you can take advantage of any late testing opportunities that may arise. In addition to this, kind of a fallback on that as well, the state play-in event, with being those second and third week of April, they are before AP testing starts, so you shouldn't have any worries with that. These are the AP test conflicts that should arise if you make it to finals and make it to the finals. If you're one of the schools that might have to travel on Thursday the 9th to get down to Boise, you're going to be running into the Chinese AP test in the morning, in Visci in the morning, and psychology in the PM. And then Friday, the tests that you'll be running into would be European history, U.S. history in the morning, macroeconomics, and Spanish in the evening. So keep in mind those testing conflicts, and you'll know, probably, or at least the couple weeks beforehand, so you could at least flex those dates. So the play-in, like I said, so the teams will compete for the top 4 in their start time zones in the specific game. The exception to this is Apex, which I'll explain in a second here. Our goal is to make sure that little to no school is missed on this day. It's going to be double elimination like last year. You guys should expect 2 games a night the first week, and then the remaining 2 games for the second week. So most likely, depending on the numbers, it'll probably be 2 games and 2 games. So we'll communicate a little bit more as we figure out numbers. Apex is going to be slightly different with that, in the fact that Depending on how many teams compete for Apex, we'll compete to have final standings until we have 20 teams remaining, and those 20 teams will compete in the Apex finals. So we have a full lobby with that. So here's the competition dates for you guys to be aware of that. On Friday, May 10th, Overwatch 2 will be played in the morning, and Rocket League will also start in the morning. And then on Saturday, Valorant will be in the morning, and Super Smash Bros. Will be in the morning, and Apex Legends will be in the afternoon once Valorant is finished. So keep that in mind. Again, you don't know if your team's going to make it, but towards the end of the season, you may start having a rough estimate on if you're going to make it or not, and how you're going to potentially fare in the state plans. So, do you want to take this, Dalton? Or do you want to take this?
Derek, you want to talk about middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett, talk about middle school.
Yeah, so middle school, we are going to have state as is, but we are not going to be doing any in-person stuff for middle school. So after our 7-week season is up, we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a tournament that we're going to play over the course of 2 weeks or so. Again, until I have exact numbers, I do apologize that I can't give you an exact time frame. But we are going to have about a 2-week tournament where we're going to determine our champions for the state season. So, like I said, we won't be having an in-person event of any sort, but we will be determining a state champion for all 5 of our middle school games.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. So this is our kind of new guideline for this year. So for the state finals, a player should only have one state tournament a day, with the exception of Apex. A sub should be used in the original player's place if they were playing, the 2 games during the regular season. Should the original player be completely eliminated from the other tournament or has finished the other tournament to completion, they may resume as a substitute for the team. Teams without their entire roster present may be presented with a forfeit loss. This is simply because of the fact that due to the number of teams and the games that we play and the nature of it, we have to start them at the exact same time. So, you can't have someone playing Overwatch 2 and Rocket League because they are going to be playing at the exact same time. Same with Valorant and Smash Bros. You can have a kid play Overwatch and Valorant because they're on separate days, but this is simply to ensure that we're not facing any delays because a kid's trying to play both games and they're like, well, can we delay this game because my son or daughter hasn't eaten lunch yet, and they were like, well, you had the entire lunch break, and they're like, well, I was playing Rocket League, and it's like and that causes a lot of delays and a lot of delays in schedule, which we're trying to avoid that. So as a result, if you make it to states, your player is only allowed to play in 1 game per day, with the exception of Apex, of course. They can do Valorant in Apex or Smash Bros. In Apex.
All right, so it's just some new stuff for this year. We're adding Apex. We talked about that. Super Smash Bros. We're moving to a 4v4 versus 5v5. Another conversation, and we're definitely open to feedback on what people think that we talked about. And Mitch, you correct me if I say anything wrong. Was moving to kind of pre-selected stages, so you know what stage to use instead of like having to go through the elimination process, because that just took so much time from what I was told.
Well, and the other issue was there were teams that were switching the stage in between each player. So what you'll do is you'll pick a stage and you'll do the whole crew battle on that stage, and then you can change stage after that first victory is decided. You could change, and it will be so. At most you're playing on 2 stages.
All right, cool. Thank you. We also went into pro player qualifications. We added that language, I believe, onto our rules document. Maybe I didn't. Nate, do you remember what all we went over on that one?
Essentially, with the pro players qualification, kind of the long story, the TLDR of it, is we've set the fact that students can't earn a specific amount I think it was what? I think it was 5,000. I'm not 100% sure on that, but essentially the whole point of this was, your students can't be competing in, the world championships for Valorant or Apex or something like that, and walking home with $100,000 and things like that, and then coming in and absolutely smashing the league. I think that takes a lot of the magic, I guess you could say, of our esports. So just double check that, because if you have any questions, or you're maybe like, oh my goodness, my students competed in some podunk tournament that some random person hosted on Discord and won $10, they're not considered a pro player. This is mainly just targeted for, do you have any players that compete in the world level, national level, and high profile tournaments on the regular, that would be considered a pro player. Because we're in a very unique sport in the fact that a lot of professional players in esports are 16 to 18 years old. So we just want to make sure we address that, because we don't want to have that run into any issues at the start of the season.
Cool. Coaching and spectating, we made just some modifications, and we're going to continue kind of modifying that a little bit to kind of do game-specific scenarios. Every game is different on how they do spectating and stuff like that. Coaching, basically, here's the big idea that you can probably just get away with. If your player can move, then you can't coach them. That's basically the best way to go about what coaching is. If your player's character can move, no talkie. And then spectating, like I said, with our school's SRT system, it actually eliminates the whole spectating aspect of it, because you just take it from your player's perspective. But each school basically is allowed one spectator, until we, if we start finding people having issues where they're stream sniping or whatever, we can start to review that as well. I don't know. Do we have anything else on that, guys? That was good.
No, I think that's good.
Okay. 6-week season. It's 7 weeks, but you're going to have 6 competitions. Is kind of the best way to think about that. You'll have 6 competitions, and then you'll go into the play-in event. As Nate mentioned, it's going to be a 2-week process instead of kind of all day in a single week. Again, there's a lot of kind of feedback from administrators and coaches and teachers that they were not hot in us taking kids during the school day for esports. I know they do it with traditional sports, but we got to play to our crowd. We have the time zone split. Hopefully this kind of makes things a lot nicer for some schools. Kind of name of the game though is be a little bit flexible schools. We want the kids to play games, so just try and make that happen as much as possible. League OS is our official communication and result platform. I mentioned the communication port. That's also where you're going to report any results. If anyone's ever used another platform such as HSEL or Generation Esports or Playverse or anything like that, they all typically have a result integration. It's really cool. They have Valorant hooked in, so you get all your Valorant stats. I think they're working on Rocket League. They're working on chess, which we don't have, but they have a whole bunch of cool things happening. There's been some rule changes, and you can see the changes on idahoesports.gg.
Last on the rule changes is just double check everything. Even if you think about it, please read it. We'll be finalizing map pools and things like that as we get closer to the season. So.
Oh, and I'll talk about it on the website. Never mind. All right, new website. I knew it was the next slide, so that's why I went for it. So on the website, in case you're wondering, or in case you missed it, we did change websites. We were able to get the .gg domain name, which I thought was pretty cool. idahoesports.gg, it's total gamer-esque. We do want to thank everyone that's handled the idahoesports.io. I don't know what they're doing with it anymore, but our kind of official one is now idahoesports.gg. If anyone does know who owns idahoesports.org, I'd love to talk to them and see, if they would like to hand it over. I'd pay too for it. And also with that, we are a student kind of focused organization. So if you or a student is interested in HTML, CSS, or React Next.js, we would love to have them get involved. We use GitHub. We use kind of a lot of stuff that are used in actual software development. So definitely willing to work with those kids. I am particularly. I do recommend that they have started and gone a bit of the way through the Odin project, which is a super awesome free HTML, CSS, and JS program that exists on the web, on the internet. It's called the Odin Project. They should do at least foundation and or start going through free code camp stuff in order to before kind of coming to us, because it's all in HTML, CSS, JS, and all that fun stuff. Also on the rules, because I mentioned to it, the rules should now have the last time that we updated that specific page automatically populate to the top of it under updated. And so it should have the date and time that it was last updated, just so that you know how accurate and how recent that was that we last changed those. I kind of like it as a feature. And check out our socials. Tag us, add us, retweet, share. X, which I always use labeled as formerly Twitter. We're at Idaho_esports. YouTube at Idaho_esports. You're starting to see the pattern here. Twitch, Idaho_esports. Facebook, I accidentally made it a profile instead of an actual page, so I'm getting that back. And our GitHub account is Idaho-Esports Association. If you or a student wants to kind of some experience as a social media manager, let us know. I would love to hand off some of this stuff to other people because my graphic ability is mostly just taking it from other places. Nate.
I'll handle this. So, new coaches, reach out to me, or I'll just blanket send it out. I am working on what we call what to expect when expecting an esports team. And so this pamphlet is going to walk you through, kind of what preseason would look like, and what each week is going to look like, and some of my at least personal advice and some advice that we've talked about on how to approach the week, and things like that, because you may feel like you've got it handled, and you'll never feel like you have it handled. And this is my third year, and I still don't feel like I have it handled. So, this is mainly for new coaches. But if you're a returning coach and you've got someone new under your belt or something like that, you want me to hand it off to them, I'll happily give it to you. So I'll have that sent out to everybody tomorrow, and so you guys can see that. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of the other coaches as well. Build a relationship with the coaches. I think there's not a single person in this league that I feel like I can't talk to or ask questions on what they're doing, or how they're approaching certain things. So feel free to reach out to some of the other coaches, and also feel free to reach out to us. We're trying to create videos and documents to help support, mainly with how to start game lobbies and things like that, how to run OBS and all that jazz. So we're working on getting that all set up, and getting some more training material for you guys. So feel free to reach out. Like I said, I'm more than happy to help and give advice and walk through. So I guess on this as well, for all the returning people, I think it's worth noting that our league has grown almost 2 times in size. And so be patient for the first couple weeks. I think Dalton nailed it on the head, right? Just reach out to the coaches, let them know if you're having any problems or any delays, right? Obviously, don't be like, we're going to start at 5 p.m. because I can't get a kid, or this kid needs to talk to whatever, blah, 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 right? But just be aware, there's a lot of new coaches, so help out week 1 and week 2. Help people learn, because that's how we learned, and how we were able to make such an awesome season last year.
Nate, you can cover this too.
I'll cover this as well. So, in case you guys don't know, February 7th through the 9th is the IETA conference. This is the Idaho Educators Technology Association conference. They host it yearly. We will be having an open roundtable about the IEA and how to start teams and how to get involved and maybe how to pitch things to administrators and all that stuff. And if you have any questions about the league or want to voice concerns, questions, whatnot, feel free to come down to the IETA conference. It is in Boise in the Grove, so hosted by Boise State. In addition to this, there's a potential tournament on that. I think the Winter Games tournament, it might be related to this. So, but yeah, come meet us at IETA. We're happy to talk, sit down, chat, laugh, cry about the season, yeah, we'll have a good time.
And I think Doc said, or I think someone said that they're going to have tours of the esports facility at BSU. If you haven't checked that out, it's a pretty cool little facility there that they got going on. You'll get to see what the state space will look like. Just make sure that you imagine like whatever it is, 150 kids in there too. All right. So we have a few people that have reached out to us. Man, as soon as you become a nonprofit in esports, you just start getting hit up by people all the time. So one group that reached out to us is a team from Missouri that's creating blue light glasses. And they customize them so you can get your team logos, you can get your branding on there, you can kind of pick and choose bits and pieces like what colors they are. I've heard of some teams, not necessarily in Idaho, having home glasses and away glasses, like home jerseys and away jerseys. However, I did get a sample pair, and I like them. The sample pair I got was a little hipster for my feeling, but they didn't have any branding and stuff on there as well. There's lots of group rates. If you want to know more information, please let us know, and we can schedule a webinar with our team. They'll bring in an optician, the ones that take care of eyes, and they have some. They definitely have some resources about what they're doing and what they're trying to do. Their main focus is esports. I believe they have glasses with Arizona, and I think they're starting to partner up with some of the collegiate esports organizations that do exist right now. Don't know about NAC or NACE, but I think NECC or something like that they're connected with. So if you're interested, let me know, and I can get you guys the information on that.
Okay, and this one's mostly for new coaches or coaches who are expanding their program. ITC, Information Technology Corps, is an Idaho-based company that handles and coordinates buying computers, buying all sorts of the gaming PCs as well as regular school PCs. They do district POs, tax exemption, all that fun stuff. They work with a lot of schools. My district, actually, we have worked with these guys for many, many years. So if you are interested, you need some help, you need to figure out exactly what equipment you need, I would strongly recommend that you reach out to Andy Falk. It's just Andy at GoITC. If you would rather talk to me, I've been working with Andy for a little while. You can reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to get you into a contact situation with him where he can take care of you. From what I understand, Andy actually was the point of contact for Doc Haskell when they were getting their initial computers from HP. So Andy's been in the esports game for quite a while, and it's real important to him. So here's hoping, and here's hoping he can help you out if you need him.
This Dalton in the final stretch.
Let's do that.
I think I'm back.
All right, there we go.
All right. So thanks, everyone. Feel free, if you have questions, you can throw them in the chat, or you can definitely send us those emails or message us on Discord. I'd have to put this on here because we use this slide egg thing. But thanks for coming. Hopefully we answered any questions you have. If you need help with anything, let us know. And able to help. We are all teachers, though.
I think we might have lost Dalton. We are all teachers, so if you do reach out to us and we don't get back to you right away. We are teaching our own classes. We are working our own districts. So please be patient with us if we don't get right back to you, but we will get back to you as quick as we can. Nate, Mitch, anything to add before we close out?
I just say, just like thank everyone for being here. It's going to be a good year. This is exciting. It's going to feel even more official than last year using League OS and getting everything rolling. So yeah, I'm glad everyone could be here to enjoy this with us.
Yeah, my final thing is, we're hoping to have teams. We want you to have finalize your teams by February 6th. So make sure you guys get your League OS started, and remember, contact us if you don't have that as well. If you know any other schools that are, have an esports program, know absolutely nothing about us, whatnot, send them our way. It is not too late to register for our season. The more teams, the merrier. It'll make it way more fun. So, yeah. Thank you guys all for tuning in and reaching out and hanging out with us this afternoon. Be safe out there. Don't get too cold. And if you got any questions, reach out to us.
Yep. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here. Have a good one.
And we are done.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wait, do we have to go click stop? Do you have to go
I
click
had to click stop and stop streaming.
Nice. All right.
Stupid thing. Yeah. So